The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. We drop our suitcases upstairs. We don't stop to eat anything. At 2:30, we leave the hotel and head back toward the Congress Avenue Bridge. I decide we should walk. I figure a long walk may help jog a memory in Bailey, assuming there is a memory to jog. And this walk will lead us through the heart of downtown Austin and up toward the campus and the Darrell K. Royal Stadium, the only football stadium in the city. As soon as we make it over to the bridge, the downtown splays out before us, vibrant and spinning, even in the early afternoon. It somehow feels more like it's nighttime. Music playing, bars open, garden restaurants packed with people. Bailey keeps her head down, eyes on her phone. How is she going to recognize anything if she isn't paying attention? But when we stop at the traffic light on 5th Street, the Don't Walk sign flashing before us, she does look up. She looks up and I catch her do a double take. What? I say. Nothing. She shakes her head. But she keeps staring. I follow her eyes to a sign for Antone's written in blue script. Home of the Blues written below it. A couple cuddles by the front door, taking a selfie. She points at the clock. I'm pretty sure that my father has a John Lee Hooker record from there, she says. I know she's correct as soon as she says it. I can picture the album cover, Antone's logo on the front of it, the sleek lettering in script, and Hooker singing into a microphone, hat and sunglasses on, guitar in hand. I remember a night last week. How could it possibly have been last week? When Bailey was at play practice and the two of us were in the house alone. Owens drummed on his guitar. I can't remember the words of the song now, but Owens' face while he sang that I remember. He does, I say. You're right. Not that it matters, she says. I don't think we know what matters yet, I say. Is that supposed to be uplifting or something? She says. Uplifting? 3 days ago, we were all together in our kitchen, a million miles from this reality. Bailey was eating a bowl of cereal, talking to her father about the weekend. She wanted Owen to let her take a drive down to the peninsula with Bobby, who wanted to go on a long bike ride around Monterey. Maybe we can all go, Owen said. Bailey rolled her eyes, but I could see that she was considering it, especially after Owen said that we could stop in Carmel on the way home. He wanted to stop and get clam chowder at a small restaurant she loved near the beach, a restaurant where he's been taking her since shortly after they moved to Sausalito. That was 3 days ago. Now the two of us are in a new reality where Owen is missing, where we spend our time trying to figure out where he is and why. A new reality where I'm constantly asking myself whether I'm wrong to hold on to the belief that the answers to those questions aren't going to upend my most central ideas of who Owen is. I'm not aiming for uplifting. I'm just trying to say something neutral so she doesn't know how angry I am too. When the light changes, I walk quickly across the street, turning onto Congress, picking up speed as I go. Try to keep up, I say. Where are we going? Bailey says. Somewhere better than here, I say. About an hour later, we round the Capitol and circle onto San Jacinto Boulevard, and the stadium comes into view. It is enormous, demanding, even from several blocks away. As we walk toward it, we pass the Kevin Clark Sports Center. It seems to be the student rec center, complete with a series of matching orange-laced buildings, Clark Field, and a large track. Students are playing tag football and doing sprints up the stairs and lounging on benches, making this part of campus feel at once completely separate and still a part of its city. seamlessly integrated. I look down at my campus map and start moving toward the closest stadium entrance. But Bailey stops walking suddenly. I don't want to do this, she says. I meet her eyes. Even if I was at the stadium, then what? What's that going to tell us about anything? Bailey, I say. Seriously, where are we doing here? What are we doing here? She won't respond well if I tell her that I stayed up last night reading about childhood memories, how we forget them, and how we get them back. They often come from returning to a place and then being allowed to experience it in the same way you experienced it the first time. That is what we're doing here. We're following her instinct. We're tapping into her memory that she's been here before. And my instinct from the minute I realized where Grady Bradford came from, that we should. There are things your father hasn't told us beyond what's going on at the shop, I say. I'm trying to figure out what they are. That sounds pretty general, she says. It'll get less general the more we remember, I say. So, this is on me then? No, it's on me. If I was wrong to take you here, I'll be the first to say it. She gets quiet. Look, will you just come inside? Can you do that? I say. Come this far. Do I have a choice? She says. Yes, I say. Always. With me, you always do. I can see it flash across her face, her surprise that I mean it. And I do mean it. We're 100 feet from the closest stadium entrance, gate 2, but it is up to Bailey. If she wants to turn around, I won't stop her. Maybe this frees her to keep going, because that's what she does. She walks up to the gate, which feels like a victory. A second victory. A stadium tour group seems to be congregating, and we're able to latch onto them, walking past security without so much as a look from the distracted student manning the desk. Welcome to DKR, the tour guide says. I'm Elliot. I'll be taking you around today. Follow me. He leads the group into the end zone and gives everyone a second to take in the stadium, which is epic. There is seating for more than 100,000 fans, Texas spelled out large on one end of the field, Longhorns on the other. It is so large, so imposing, that it feels like the kind of place you might remember, you might hold on to, especially at an early age. Elliot starts walking the group through what happened on game night, how a cannon is fired after each touchdown, how Bevo, the mascot, is an actual steer bull, and how there are a group of Texas cowboys who march him around the field who tend to him. As he finishes his spiel and starts to lead everyone up to the press box, I motion for Bailey to hang back, and we head to the bleachers. I take a seat in the front row, Bailey following suit. I stare out at the field, watching her out of the corner of my eye as she settles in. And then she sits up taller. Can't be sure if it was here, she says. I don't know, but I remember my father talking to me about how one day I'd love football the way he did. I remember him telling me not to be scared of the mascot. That seems wrong, not the mascot part, which sounds exactly like Owen, and the loving football part. Owen doesn't care at all about football, at least since we've been together. I've barely seen him watch a whole game. No long afternoon football games and taking over our weekends. No Monday night recapping. One of many refreshing changes from Jake. But I must be remembering wrong, she says. My father doesn't love football, right? I mean, we never even watch games. That's what I was thinking. But he may have loved it then, when he thought he would make a fan out of you. When I was a toddler, I shrug. Maybe he thought he could mold you into a longhorn? Bailey turns back toward the field. Nothing left, apparently, to add to our memory. I do think that's what it was. It wasn't about football in general. He loved his team. She pauses, or whatever team it was in their orange uniforms. But walk me through what you know, as if this was a place. I say, did you come after the wedding? Was it night? No, it was during the afternoon, and I was in my dress, the flower girl dress. I know that. Maybe we had come from the wedding, the ceremony part. She pauses. Unless I'm imagining all of this, which feels equally possible, I feel her getting frustrated. More than likely, Bailey remembered what she could back in Sausalito, and that's where we've stayed. We should have stayed in our floating home, empty without Owen. Two of us existing in the terrible space he left there. I don't know what to say, she says. In any stadium, I might feel this way. But it does look familiar. Yeah, it kind of does. Then something occurs to me. It comes fast, and I can see the rest depending on what her answer is. So you walked here? She gives me a strange look. Yes, with you. No, I mean, did you say you walked here from the wedding that day with your father, assuming it was here? She shakes her head, as if that was a crazy question, but then her eyes get wider. Yeah, I think we did. If I was in the dress, we probably came right from the church. I don't know if this conversation is creating the memory or not, but she suddenly becomes more definitive. We definitely did, she says. I mean, we only came to the game for a little while after the ceremony. We walked over, I'm pretty sure of it. So it has to be near here. What does? She says. I look down at the map and see the options marked for us. A Catholic church not too far from here, 2 Episcopal chapters, and a synagogue even closer than that. They are all within walking distance. They are all potentially the place Owen took Bailey before he took her here. You don't remember by chance what kind of ceremony it was? Like, denominationally? You're joking, right? I'm not. Of course I am, I say.